I couldn't do live Q&A last week because I had migraine, but I'm feeling okay now. So I thought, yeah, I can come very quickly to answer some of the questions that you might be having. So we'll wait for, let's say, 5 minutes and let other people join. And if I've already joined, please let me know your questions in the chat. It's starting to get a little bit cooler here in Durham. Last night though it was a bit hot, so I still had to use fan. But today, since morning, it's been just raining, so it has become a little bit cold. So yeah, was thinking to go out today, but don't. It doesn't seem like. Um, the video looks a bit wide. Not sure what you mean by wide. Is it like I'm just using my tab today, so I'm not using the usual setup. So yeah, I'm not doing it using the camera. So my tab is a little bit closer here on the table, so maybe because of that it might be a little bit more zoomed in. Not sure about the wide though, but it could be a little bit zoomed in. But as long as the audio is good, I think we should be okay. Please let me know about the audio. If the audio is okay, I think we will continue to do this live Q&A on my tab itself. It looks a little stretched. Let me open the live stream and see if it is stretched. I mean, how does it actually look? So yeah, it does look little stretched, like horizontally. Not sure why. Let me see if I can change anything here. I just increase the brightness, I think. Yeah, not sure. It does look a bit stretched, so that's quite funny. It looks funny, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, as long as the audio is fine, I think we'll just roll with it. And the rate at which people are joining this live Q&A seems like it will be a short one. So I'll just wait for another minute or so. And if we don't get any questions in the chat, then we will call it a day. I'm just looking at my own video. It looks very funny, but yeah. The YouTube app on phone as well as on the tab, it's very buggy, I feel like. So when I was setting up the stream, I had uploaded the thumbnail, but it was still showing the default thumbnail with the logo on. So I wasn't really sure why it is happening, so I had to open it in my phone and then upload it. And then also it was causing some issues. So yeah, seems like The issue is with the app, because on my tab everything is looking fine, but when I'm looking at the actual YouTube player, it just looks very stretched. So not sure why that is happening. I have a question. Yeah, sure, go ahead. I was almost about to close the live Q&A because we were over 5 minutes and we didn't have any questions. So yeah, but go ahead. If you have a question, please let me know. I have learned Python from a YouTube channel, Code with Harry, but I don't know what to do after completing the course. What is your end goal? Why are you learning Python? Because Python is a general purpose programming language. It can be used in a lot of different things, ranging from data science, data analytics to cybersecurity and web development. So, what is your end goal? In which kind of field you would like to make your career? If you think you want to be a data scientist, then maybe I can suggest you from that side. Or if you want to be a front end developer, sorry, full stack developer, then I can suggest you something from that side. Can't say much on cybersecurity side because I'm not really that knowledgeable on that front. So please let me know in the chat, um, what is the kind of career that you're more inclined towards. Based on that, I can suggest you something. I don't know actually, but I am learning it for data science. Right. Okay. So if you're not sure, and if you still have some time, you can always explore. And it's always good to have some knowledge from both domains, because as a data scientist, if you build some application and if you want to deploy it and make it more usable by the end users, having a beautiful UI always helps. So yeah, let's first talk about the data science side of things. So now that you have learned Python, I think you are very well versed with the basic syntax and how Python works, and you should be comfortable in writing Python code. So now the next step would be to maybe pick up some mathematical and statistical skills, because those are the backbone of any machine learning and deep learning algorithms. And for that also you can follow quite a lot of tutorials on YouTube. For statistics though, I have a playlist on my channel, you can probably check out that. And you should be good for your analytical side of things. So any statistic that you need for data analytics, I think you will be good. After doing that, I think you can start taking some data sets from Kaggle and perform some data analysis, create some visuals. And I'm assuming here that when you learned Python, packages like pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn, those were covered. If you haven't learned those packages, I would say spend a week or two to explore those packages. It shouldn't be very difficult to pick up those packages because they follow very similar kind of syntax. So it's just the functions are going to be a little bit different. So I would suggest maybe look into those packages as well. And after that, you can do some data analysis based project. So that way you will start working on project. And in the meantime, you can brush up your, well, parallelly, you can brush up your maths and stats. Once you have done those things, then I think you'll be in a very good position to start learning about machine learning. And for machine learning, there are lots and lots of algorithms. You can divide them into different sections like supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. And within them, you can have regression algorithms and classification algorithms. So yeah, there are a lot of different ways of dividing those algorithms, and then you can learn them uh, for implementation as well, because then you will have to use sklearn, but also how they actually work. So yeah, those are some of the things that I would suggest for now. Once you have covered those things, I think we will be in a good position to probably move for other things. Hey Goku, I'm doing good. How are you? Hi Roshan, what's the usual timeline of implementing ML models in the industry work? Like how much time it generally takes to build a model, then tune and deploy, etc. Different phase. So it's a very difficult question to answer because some of the projects are very critical and they have very tight deadlines. So it all depends on the timeline and the deadlines. So if a project manager wants that model to be developed within a week or two, then you have to stick to that timeline. But then if the project is not that critical, for that you can probably spend more time, explore, and see how the model is coming. You can spend more time on data engineering side of things, and then you can develop those models. So within our team we had multiple models trained. Some of the models had to be deployed within a couple of weeks, but then there are some models which took approximately 6 months to build, and now they are in production. So it depends from project to project. It's very difficult to say or give one particular timeline that might fit all the different use cases. I have done data types, function loops, and some other things, and object-oriented programming. And what in other? What should I do? Yeah. So for now, I think you have covered the basics of Python. The next step should be to learn about mainly four packages: pandas, numpy, matplotlib. Well, Seaborn is optional, but if you can learn Seaborn, Seaborn is again for visualization, very similar to Matplotlib, but the visuals are a bit more good looking. When you use Seaborn, again, it depends on your personal preference. You might like some of the visuals from Matplotlib, but in general, Seaborn looks a lot more slicker. So I would recommend picking up these three, four packages and start investing some time in exploring the data using these packages. So that should be the next step. Isn't 2 weeks time less for things like feature engineering for the model training? It is less, but also it depends on how familiar you are with the data. So the model that we deployed within like 2 weeks time, we were quite comfortable with the data. We knew exactly the end goal, and we have been dealing with that data for a very long time. So we knew exactly what all things we need to uh, know about the data, what could be the pitfalls, and what are the data cleaning steps needed, what are the feature engineering things needed. So again, I mean, if the data is very new, and again, one other thing I would like to mention here is that as a data scientist, you also need to be very good at managing the expectations, because if your manager says that I want this model to be developed in 2 weeks time, let's say, and you're like, okay sir, I will get it done, but that's not how things work. You need to explain them why it is difficult to do this in just this much time, why it will take a bit more time, and what are the things that we need to consider. That's why I always say that communication is also very important when you want to be a data scientist. So you need to explain them the reasons why it can take more time, and you need to justify that, and also tell them the pros and cons of developing something that quickly and putting it into production. So it all comes down to managing expectations. So you have to put some effort there as well. Can you suggest channels where I can learn these four packages, and can you explain what is the main purpose of becoming a data scientist? I don't remember the name of any of the channels at the top of my head right now, but if you search for pandas tutorial, numpy tutorial, uh, matplotlib tutorial, you will be able to find a lot of playlists, and most of them are going to be good because it's not like very complex topic, so you don't really need a very specialized channel for these things. Any channel would be okay. Coming on to your next question, what is the main purpose of becoming a data scientist? So data scientist is more like an umbrella term for a lot of different things, like data analyst, data engineer, machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, and these days even LLM engineer or AI engineer. They have their own specializations. You can't just say that I am a data scientist, so I am all of those things as well. It's very difficult to say that. But in general, as a data scientist, your main tasks will be to analyze the data and see what kind of patterns are there and how things are looking in the past. And based on that, you might have to train machine learning model to predict what will happen in the future. And the reason I'm saying might is because not all projects would need machine learning. Sometimes you can do these things with simple statistical models and statistical analysis. So yeah, I mean, that's the main task of data scientist, to analyze the data and make or help business make decisions based on the analysis that you're performing on the data. Having learned Python, if I want to learn R basics from a job application point of view, as many job description mention R, what are some topics as libraries that you would recommend? Um, I remember a good one. It's been a while, like it's more than a couple of years since I used R. But if you know ggplot, ggplot is probably the most important visualization package in R. So that should give you a very good um, capability and skills to do data analysis within R. And as and when you progress through R, like learn about basic syntax and what you can do within R and do some data analysis and things like that, you will come across a lot of other packages as well. You'll be able to train your machine learning model within R using certain packages. I am struggling to remember those packages right now, but if I do a very quick Google search, I should be able to find them. There was one other package. Let me quickly do a Google search. Dplyr, yeah, Dplyr is again one of the very important package that you can use for manipulating your data. It's just like pandas, so it's an alternative to pandas. Very important package that you should pick up. And for your classification and regression tasks, you can have Carrot. So there is a PyCarrot package as well, which is a Python implementation of that package. So I would say ggplot, dplyr, and Carrot. I think these are going to be very important ones. And if you want to build dashboard within R, I think you can learn Shiny, and I think Shiny is way lot better than Streamlit or Dash or any other Python implementation. So yeah, if you know those packages and basic syntax of R and deploy Shiny, I think you will be good. It's a request to share your struggle when you were a beginner like me and didn't know much about programming, and how you struggled to get here and what mistakes you did. Um, yeah, that's a very good question. Starting with programming, when I was learning programming, and I have talked about this quite a lot on the channel. Some of the people might already know. Um, the the first time when I was learning to program, the most difficult thing was to think how to write a program and how a program works, because you have to divide the problem into different steps, and you first need to think about how you would do it manually. So for example, if you want to sort a list of elements, how will you do it manually? You will go through each of the elements and then see which one is the biggest one. Then you can put it in the front or at the end, and then based on that you will keep going through that list, and then you will sort it. So that's how you would do it manually. But when a list is given to you, you won't actually think that you have to go through the list over and over again. You will be like, I will just scan through things and then I will put them into place. So you have to just put your thought process into structure, and that structure will help you to think the way programs work. So that's how that was one of the most difficult things that I faced when I was learning to program. And once I was able to figure that out, and now that I have been programming for uh, over a decade now, so now it just comes naturally. So that was the programming side of things. And when it comes to data science, in my bachelor's, I didn't know something like data science exists, what is machine learning, and those kind of things. So I didn't know about those things, but I really liked math, and I used to actively try to find where I can apply all the concepts that I learn. And obviously, I was also interested in web development and things like that. So I was spending more time learning about web development rather than data science. And then I came across machine learning, and then that's where I realized that all the mathematical concepts that I have learned can be used here. And then I realized that machine learning is something which I would like to do. And from machine learning, I got to know about data science, and that's where my journey to become data scientist started. So my struggle was to figure out um, what data science is and how to get into it, because at that time data science was still very new. And if you knew Python, some packages that I mentioned, and some of the machine learning algorithms, I think you would have been okay, and you should have been able to find data science related roles. But within a year, and at that point I was still in my bachelor's, and within a year data science grew like drastically. There was an article, I don't remember the publication, but there was an article saying the hottest job of 2000, something like that, and it mentioned data science. And then everyone started getting into data science, and by the time I finished my bachelor's, it had grown like drastically. So I started my career as a big data engineer, and then slowly I transformed and got into data science. So yeah, those were some of the challenges that I remember, but it is certainly a very good topic, and I think I should reflect back more deeply on this, and I should probably make a video if I'm able to come remember all the other things that I struggled with. So I'll make a note of it. And yeah, if I can remember some of those struggles which I'm not able to remember right now, I will certainly make a video. Hey Atharv, I'm doing good. How about you? So ggplot and dplyr can be done for EDA part and caret for basic. Yes, that's correct. I just completed my MSc in data science from Exeter and have 3+ years at Infosys in data BI. Still struggling to get a UK job. Any advice or improving my chance? Yeah, currently the job market is very rough. And yesterday I was talking to one of the professors from Hertfordshire University, and that video should go live today at 3 p.m. UK time. So even she was mentioning that people who take placement here, only 25% of the people are actually able to find the placement. And when people are actually in the job market, it takes at least 6 months to 12 months to actually land a job. So job market is very rough. What I would suggest is keep working on the projects and portfolios, and that should give you a very good obviously the understanding of the concepts, and help you to build your profile. But other than these things, there are few other things that I talked about in one of the videos. So I'm just trying to find the link of that video. I will put it in the chat. I highly recommend checking out that video because I have talked about quite a lot of different points. I don't remember how many, but I talked about quite a lot of different points in that video. And if you try to do those things, it will certainly help you and improve your chances of finding a job. So I'm just trying to find the live stream. Yeah, got it. So I'm putting this link in the chat now. To become a good data scientist, will I have to get good at maths? So basically, I am not good at math, but I am trying to learn. Um, when you say you're not good at math, I understand why this might come is because the kind of problems that we used to solve in our school days, um, you won't be solving that kind of complex problems unless you are in R&D department and you are actually developing some new algorithms. In that case, you'll have to solve quite a lot of very complex problems. But in general, if you are in industry in some team where you're just developing some algorithms using these packages, you don't need to be like very expert in those mathematical stuff. So what I usually recommend is you should just you just need to know enough maths to understand the algorithms. So the way I recommend learning these algorithms is that first learn the practical aspect of these algorithms. So for example, if you want to learn about linear regression, the most simplest one, first try to see what linear regression does. Don't really think about the mathematical side of things. Now that you have learned what linear regression is, what it does, try to implement it using sklearn package and see how it is working. Try to visualize it, try to plot the results, and by doing that you'll have a very good understanding of how linear regression works. And that would be a good point where you can start looking into some of the mathematical equation like linear equation and how does the fitting works. So when you do those things, it becomes a lot easier for you to pick up things because you now know the practical aspect. Now you can just look at the mathematical equation and you can correlate between how things are moving. So by doing those things, I think you will be fine. So don't worry too much about maths side of things, but don't completely ignore it. So as you mentioned, you're trying to learn, which is good. Keep doing that. but don't feel like you will be pulled back if you don't know maths. Now I think Canada or UK, Paul. Uh, um, I mean, it's totally up to you. I personally think both the countries are in very similar state. I, if I had to pick one today, Canada or UK, I personally would feel like both of them are at a very similar, uh, similar state. So it would be like 50-50. It would be very difficult for me to pick between those two. Another thing is, obviously, I haven't done a lot of research on Canada. I'm sure you would have done. So I probably have to do more research on Canada and see if things are better there as compared to UK. If things are good in Canada, then by all means, sure, go ahead with Canada. The reason I would not, uh, well, based on the research that I did 4 or 5 years back, I won't pick Canada because the masters is for 2 years. It will take a lot more time. Living expense are very expensive, and to go to a very good college, I don't know about this much, but I think you'll have to live in some of the very bigger and popular cities. So again, living expense can be a lot higher there. So overall, the cost of education will be very expensive. And after finishing your course, you may get bit more salary as compared to what you would get in the UK, but I don't think it's like drastically more um, as compared to the UK. So my view is kind of 50-50. I will have to leave that decision to you, Athar, to choose from. Um, but those were some of the things that I would like to mention here. So it's been how long? 30 minutes, right? So yeah, so far if you are finding this live Q&A helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that, and it always keeps me motivated to come back and answer your questions here. Thank you. You're welcome, Shakti. Okay, thanks. And can we practice R in VS Code ID itself or need to install R Studio? I think you can write R in VS Code as well, but R Studio, if you are new and don't know R much, I recommend R Studio because it's a lot more user friendly for R. You can inspect all the variables, what values they contain, and it's just more user friendly when it comes to running R code. So I recommend installing that, but I think you should be able to run R in VS Code itself. I think there are some extensions that you may need to install, just like what you do for Python. And obviously you have to install R. Once you have done those things, you should be able to run your R code within VS Code. How is the job market currently in US and Canada side as compared to the UK? Can't really comment on this because I won't say that I have kept tab with the job market in US and Canada. Uh, yeah, so it's difficult to comment. I haven't really looked into that much, but if it is something uh, which I need to look into, I can probably, but I don't really have much information on that. Look for software. All three countries are best, and USA is the bestest of all. But Mr. Trump has started hating everyone, bro. Now, what to decide, bro? Yeah, true. I agree when it comes to just the salary side of thing. I think US is definitely the best. Um, but seeing the policies that Trump is bringing, it's getting very difficult. So Yeah, I mean, I don't know in which direction it will go. It's a very tricky um, thing to do, to decide which country to go to for your masters, especially if you don't have, well, if you completely ignore the salary side of things. I think, I personally think the job market is still same everywhere. Some countries are big, some countries are small, so depending on that, more people go to that country than the other country. So ultimately, the number of jobs that are there in the market, they stay the same. Well, number of jobs are more, but number of people applying to those jobs or number of jobs per candidate always stay the same. The ratio is almost same. So given that, I think it doesn't really matter where you go. Competition is still high everywhere. Um, but if you want to choose a country, I am again assuming here that you would like to live in that country for a little long, if not forever. Then don't just think about the salary side of things, job side of things. Obviously, those things are very important, but you also need to think about how safe that country is. Do you like the weather of that country? What's the kind of culture there, because you have to adapt to that particular culture. So you need to think about a lot of other things than just whether jobs are there or not. I understand that without a job you won't be able to live there, so that is one of the most important things that you should think about. But other than that, there are a lot other things that you need to think about and research about. So I would recommend um, looking at the job market, of course, but also look at the other things. And usually if a job market improves in one country, it improves in other countries as well. So yeah, it's difficult, I understand that. I have come to UK and will be starting my masters in data science from Monday. Hi Abhishek, congratulations, and I hope your first day will be good, and you will enjoy your master's experience, and I wish you uh, all the best, and I hope you'll be able to achieve whatever uh, you have in your mind and whatever you have come here to achieve. So all the best. I heard last week that UK had protest that anti-immigration policies, bro. Yeah, there was a pretty massive protest, and there are a lot of different type of people participating in those protests. Some people are against just illegal immigration. Some people are against immigration altogether. The thing is, it's not that simple in the UK or in any other country to just completely stop the immigration and don't let anyone from outside come into the country, because there are a lot of key jobs that immigrants do, especially from STEM side of things. I don't see a lot of people from the UK taking STEM related subject. Obviously government is putting quite a lot of effort in motivating people to take STEM related subjects, but there are still a lot less people taking those kind of studies. People are going either towards history side of things, art side of things, commerce side of things, management related courses, but they usually don't take STEM related courses. So if they completely stop that, it will be a very bad decision from government side. But obviously government will have to keep the public happy as well to keep winning the election. So they will be taking some measures. It could harm the country, or it may even help the country. I don't know about those policies. So I will let government decide what they want to do, and I will let people choose what is good for them. I can't commit for other people. But yeah, that's what I believe. There were a lot of protests going on. um, I have talked to a lot of people, and in general, whenever I talk to Some older people or non-teenagers, they are fine, they are good, and they're very open-minded as well. But teenagers are quite risky in this country, so I try to uh, avoid any interactions with them. I'm not saying all of them are like that. I have talked to some of the kids as well here. They are really nice, but then there are very few of those from whom you should just keep your distance. Um, so yeah, I mean, there are a lot of protests and things like that are going on, but those things are not in my hand. And similar sentiments are there in other countries as well, not just in the UK. You can see it in other European countries, Australia, probably New Zealand as well, Canada, US, those places as well. Everyone is now against immigration. So I think there should be a better way of handling the immigration that probably government need to put more effort into. What are your thoughts on Gemini's Nano Banana? Nano Banana. Yeah, again, I mean, if you need to make something viral, I think it's a lot easier to make those things in South Asia. Uh, I don't know. I have not tried it. I don't really care about it. If I need to generate some images, I will probably generate those things. I don't think I would upload my photo and ask them to make me look in certain way. I don't really care about that. And if I really want to look like something, I would just dress up like that and I will get a photo uh, shoot done. Or if I have to do it for my wife, I would really ask her to get ready and get those things done. I can take photos for her. So yeah, I personally haven't used it, don't know about it, but results definitely look very natural, very good. So the tool itself is good, I would say, but again, I mean, if you want to use it for productivity, I think it's fine, but people use for some random stuff in uh, in certain countries, so can't really comment too much on that. I don't know Python. Can I learn while studying the course or am I lagging behind? Um, Knowing Python definitely helps. If you know any programming language, that helps. So if you don't know Python, that is fine. But if you know any other programming language, it will help you to learn Python a lot quicker. But if you don't know any programming language, that is also fine, because in my batch there were a lot of people who didn't know any programming at all, but they spent extra time to learn programming. So from Monday, I think it will be your induction day. So it's not like everything will start from Monday itself. So you will have a week or two. So do enjoy your time, do participate in induction. There will be a lot of events, go to those events, make friends. But when you come back, I highly recommend start learning Python, because that way you will be more familiar with the assignments. Well, when I say familiar, what I mean is you'll only have to focus on the assignments from conceptual perspective, and um not from programming side of things. So it's not like you're lagging behind, it's just you need to put a little bit more extra time and effort, but you should be okay. um I had a clear shot MS in AI, Gen AI, and I think there won't be any issue after that. Yeah, if you do something in AI and data science, the future definitely looks good. But do keep in mind that this is ever evolving field. It evolves very fast. So if you think that just doing masters will be good enough, I would say no, because in masters they will only cover the basics. Apart from that, you'll have to put in quite a lot of effort to stay up to date and keep learning new things and see what is relevant in the market. So if you do those things, yeah, I think you should be fine. Also, health sector, NHS may face major crisis as well. If it's, yeah, I totally agree. In NHS as well. Well, NHS is actually run by most of the people who are not from the UK, so that will again be in major crisis. I personally think it is already not doing very well. The NHS itself, usually when you have to book appointment, it takes a long time to get an appointment done. You can always go for walk-ins, but then there also you will have to, they will give you, they don't do walk-ins I think anymore, so they will give you some link, you'll have to explain your issue, and then they will decide whether your issue is serious enough to be attended by the GP. So there are a lot of delays there as well, and I have talked to a lot of my friends and they complain that GPs don't take the issues that seriously. Even though I'm going through a lot of pain, they'll be like, yeah, just take painkiller, you'll be fine. So yeah, those kind of things. So through Nano Banana, Google Gemini is now gathering images data for model training as, yeah, that's the goal, because if a tool is free to use, you are the product. It's a very popular statement. It's not like I am making this statement. And when you upload your photo, it just sits in their database, and then they can use that to train their models, to fine tune the models, and generate a lot more realistic looking uh, images. So yeah, all these companies they need as much data as they can. So all of these tools are basically just a way of collecting data. Bro, I have to do project on a scholarship recommendation system using recommendation algorithm. Can you give me some idea using Java, CSS, etc.? Using Java, CSS, okay. Well, CSS, well, it doesn't matter what the backend is. It could be Java, it could be Python. You can make UI with CSS, HTML, and things like that, so that is fine. Not sure what kind of suggestion you want. Some ideas. You mean like the algorithmic ideas? What algorithms to use? I haven't built a recommendation system in like ages. I only built it when I was learning. Uh, so I'm struggling to even remember the name of those algorithms. There was one algorithm starting with C. It's um, if you can maybe give me any um, idea about what recommendation or what suggestion you want, or what ideas you want, in what, like, you have a very clear project title which is like scholarship recommendation system, so you probably just need to recommend scholarship based on people's demographic or their interests, and also the subject or the field that they want to get into based on those things. So there are a lot of different ways you can do the segmentation and recommendation. So yeah, not sure exactly what kind of ideas you're looking for. Is it just based on algorithms or something else? Bro, I am an AI engineer, so I don't need to worry. That's good. I know Java. I learned it during the college. Also, from past 5 years, I am working as a data scientist and working as a BI developer. So, can you recommend what all should I focus on in Python? So that's good. You know Java. You have very good understanding of programming. So, in terms of Python, I think if you pick up the basic syntax of Python and obviously the core concepts like loops, statement, looping statement, if statement, conditional statements, functions, error handling, file handling, those kind of things, you will be fine. After that, I think majority of the things that you will be doing will be using packages. So packages like pandas, numpy, those kind of things. So yeah, um, if you pick up packages like pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn, you will be fine to start with, because once you have picked up any package, all the other packages work in a very similar way. So it shouldn't be a problem when you want to implement uh, any machine learning algorithms using sklearn package, because it will work in a similar way and you will know how to use packages. So yeah, and I personally think if you know that much programming, it will hardly take a week or two to pick up Python, and you will be comfortable in Python in no time. So man, like if I think of going to big data before going to MS in AI, as it will just uplift me. Uh, you are already an AI engineer, so I would say if you pick up some skills in big data, that would certainly help. I won't necessarily say that you should switch to big data, like change your career as a big data engineer. So don't do that. Stick to your existing career, which is AI engineer. Just pick up some big data related skills if you don't already have it. And the most popular one is PySpark. So if you can learn PySpark while being ML engineer or AI engineer, I think that would be good. And it will certainly help you in a much longer run because data is just growing. Do you think platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. can access everything present on our devices beyond what info we knowingly provide to them? Funny thing is, previously when I used to search about particular product, then I used to get ads. These days, if I just talk about those things, I don't know how coincidental it is. I don't want to get into any conspiracy theories and stuff. But these days, if I just talk about something with friends and family, for some reason I see those ads. Not sure if my friends and family they search for these things and then they know that they are my friend because we share things online. That's why they show those things to me, or they just have access to microphone, because whenever you access any application, the first thing they ask is access to a lot of these things, and including your microphone and file system and things like that. So uh, there are chances that they might be accessing all of these things. And in US, whenever they go to, they have these hearings, I don't know what do they call it, where some minister or something, or the judiciary, they ask these questions to these CEOs. They try to answer them in a very diplomatic way, and they say that if user grants us access, then yes. And that's what we do. We just grant access to almost everything. So who knows? Yeah, I mean, yes, I think they can access quite a lot of things, especially with these applications like ChatGPT and Gemini, um, because yeah, they're linked with all the other applications when you register with your Gmail uh, in Gemini, and when you're just having conversation with them, they, to be able to function properly, they need to have access to all the other resources in your phone, like replying to someone automatically. They need to know about your calendar, they need to know about your email, they need to know about what conversation you have had in the past. So I won't be surprised if they say that they have access to more things than what we just provide them in those applications. I think I missed this message, but it's just hi, I think. So hi Devabrata. So last time you said it's a good move cause I will be moving to MS in AI. I think I should hit certain big data role. Can you explain it is good before MS or does it? Yeah, I remember the last conversation. I said picking up some skills in big data would be good, um, not necessarily switching to big data engineering. So yeah, I still think the same way that if you are already an AI engineer, why do you want to switch to big data engineer and then come back to AI engineer? It would be more helpful if you can just keep your career more consistent into one direction. Switching between different roles is okay. I mean, it's not bad, but having a consistent career is definitely a lot better, especially when you're applying for a job and an employer sees that you were AI engineer, then you switch to big data engineer, and now coming back to AI engineering. Why do you want to do that? So yeah, I would recommend just be AI engineer and pick up big data skills. Bro, can you guide me for data analyst to get a job in 4 months? For data analyst, I think the most important skills are one programming language. It could be Python. It could be R as well. It's totally up to you. I would recommend Python because Python is more popular in industry. SQL, very important if you want to very quickly go through the database, look at the data. You don't want to set up your Python environment and everything and then read just for some quick exploration. SQL is very important. After that, any BI tool, it could be Power BI, it could be Tableau, totally up to you. I prefer to use Power BI. It's a lot more popular, especially because it is a Microsoft product and a lot of the companies use Microsoft products, so it just integrates naturally. So any BI tool. Um, Apart from that, statistics is important because when you will be doing any kind of analysis, you'll be doing quite a lot of hypothesis testing, A/B testing, and you'll also have to do well, you have to suggest your findings to your stakeholders and they might ask you how much confident you are, so you need to know about confidence interval, distribution, and things like that. So I would recommend, if you know Python, SQL, Power BI, or any BI tool and statistics, I think you'll be in a very good position to apply for any of the data analysis related roles. Thank you so much for your time and all the answers. No problem, Samita. It's always good to talk to you. And we are almost reaching 1 hour time, so I will answer this last question, which is web scraping, EDA, pandas, numpy, Seaborn, matplotlib, bro. Okay, so it was just an answer to Manish's question. So yeah, I think I've answered all the questions and we have reached the 1 hour mark. It was really nice talking to you all. Thanks for joining. I do these live Q&As every Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time. So I will see you next Saturday. Have a good day, have a good weekend, and happy learning. See you. Bye. And yeah, don't forget to give this live stream a like because I really appreciate that.